So, in my previous video, I talked about by far the biggest controversy that has come out of Russia in recent times, and I'm of course talking about the infamous almost naked party that was thrown in Moscow by a famous Russian influencer Nastya Ivleva, which was a party with a sort of a spicy dress code that a lot of Russian celebrities visited, and apparently according to Russian propaganda in the Z community, parties such as these are not only not traditional and conservative enough for Russia, and pretty much every single celebrity that has attended this party has been charged with LGBTQ propaganda, because of course a bunch of adult women and men wearing slightly revealing clothing is of course LGBT propaganda, but also how dare these people party while there's a war going on and everything.
Это как понимать? Мы чё за этих тут, сука, в окопах сидим, блядь?
But actually guys, since I've made that video, it's only gotten worse because now certain celebrities that took part in this party are actually going to be sent to the front line in Ukraine. And yes, this is not a joke. What is up guys, it is your boy Roman, your favorite neighborhood Russian, and in today's video, we're gonna be looking at the aftermath of this controversial Russian celebrity party, and we're gonna witness how Russia is currently basically cancelling every single celebrity. So, the first attendee of this party that we're gonna be talking about is the Russian rapper Vacio. Just in case you guys forgot, Vacio is the guy who came to the party wearing absolutely nothing except for a sock over his penis. Yes, that was his outfit, and photos of it were posted everywhere. And what's going on now is that apparently, the rapper Vacio has been given a military summons, so the government is basically sending this guy to the army as a punishment. Supposedly, Vacio is actually not even opposed to the idea of not just serving in the regular army as a conscript, but actually he doesn't mind being sent right to the special military operation, because that is supposedly a way for him to wash away his sins in front of the Russian people. But honestly, in my opinion, Vacio is doing too much. If he wanted to experience the thrill and the excitement of being on a battlefield, I think what he could have done instead is just play Conflict of Nations World War III, which is actually the sponsor of today's video. Conflict of Nations is a free online PvP strategy game in which you can choose any of the real countries to lead during World War III. In Conflict of Nations, you can fight up to 128 players in real time in battles that can take weeks to complete. You can use many different units to build up your army, including tanks, jets, and even nuclear submarines. One thing I like about Conflict of Nations is that you can choose your own strategy and either declare war on your neighbors or forge alliances with other players. You can play on the same account on both PC and mobile, and if you click the link in the description, you get an exclusive gift. 13,000 gold and 1 month of premium subscription for free. The offer is only available for 30 days, so don't lose time. Now let's get back to the video. So yes, essentially the rapper Vacio has been punished by being sent to the Russian army. Russia is very proud of its army and its soldiers, so it only makes sense that you would send people that you hate to the army as a punishment. And also the rapper Vacio himself, according to his lawyer, says that he supports Russia and he supports the special military operation, so everything is alright. That is literally the quote, by the way. Russia has already actually done this before, by the way, to anti-governmental activists, literally sending them to the army instead of prison. That is very curious right there. But actually, Vacio himself wants to take some action too, and apparently he is currently suing a Russian singer, Olga Orlova, who was also present at this party, for essentially taking pictures of him and posting them online. So essentially right now, Vacio is also trying to, jail the person that posted the pictures of him in the first place, even though he was clearly posing in the majority of them. And this wasn't done behind his back, obviously. But guys, I get it, honestly, if if I was sent to the Russian army, as a result of somebody taking a picture of me, I would be pissed as well. Yeah, fair enough. I can see why he would act like this. It's not the greatest fate a man can have. What happened next was also quite interesting because another artist in Russia, Maxim Tesly, the frontman of the Russian band The Puppies, during this concert, this man also came out on stage wearing nothing but a sock over his penis. And obviously, I guess this was some sort of provocation, or maybe a gesture of solidarity with Vacio. But basically, the video of this concert was posted online, and it obviously started a huge shit show. Certain governmental officials actually said that this guy needs to be jailed as well. So here it says, during the performance, the band member Maxim Tesly decided to repeat the costume of the rapper Vacio. However, during the performance, the sock unfortunately slipped. And these are the scum that our children are looking at today. This is LGBT propaganda. We're preparing an official application for the start of a criminal case. So yes, professional snitches in Russia trying to jail somebody as always. And apparently this guy Maxim Tesly tried to leave Russia right after this and was arrested in the airport. And supposedly he's also gonna be in jail now for hooliganism or whatever. But obviously, like in Vacio's case, this could get worse. So yeah guys, what can I say? I love modern Russia. You guys remember the Prigozhin-Wagner mutiny, you know? When a ton of soldiers were marching towards Moscow to do something crazy. Zero criminal cases, by the way, guys. No one has been tried for this. However, when a grown man comes out with a sock over his penis, that is too much. We need to start 2 criminal cases regarding this. So yeah, essentially what this all led to is that all the celebrities that were noticed at this party and that could face potential backlash, they're essentially currently trying to be as Z as possible in order to sort of wash away their sins. For example, Dima Bilan, a very famous Russian singer, he was also at this almost naked party, and after the whole shit show started, he also released an apology video saying that he's terribly sorry for, you know, taking part in all this, you know, debauchery and liberal degeneracy or whatever. And as of today, what happened is that Dima Bilan actually visited the Donetsk People's Republic. Yes. Apparently, Dima Bilan visited several hospitals, children's hospitals at that, in Donetsk and also other places in the region, and supposedly he donated air conditioners and money to these hospitals. He gave gifts to kids and even donated 3 million rubles to the homeless pet shelter of the Donetsk region. What a great guy. I just find it really interesting how all these Russian celebrities, they only ever do something like this, and they only ever show, you know, how Z they are by supporting, you know, the Russian cause, the Russian world or whatever. They only basically ever do this when they're in some hot water, and they basically need to say to the governments, please don't touch me, I'm Z, I swear to guys, I will obey. I will do everything you told me to, just don't put me in jail because I wore that fucking fishnet top. That was the worst mistake of my life. Oh yeah, and I also forgot, Dima Bilan apparently also took away a cat for himself from the pet shelter, so yeah guys, I don't know. Is there a more pathetic existence than that of a, you know, Z propaganda singer in Russia? I really don't know. Philipp Kirkorov, another Russian star that was also at the party, after recording his apology video, also dropped a huge donation to the city of Belgorod, which is famously on the border with Ukraine. And actually, he gave the donation to the local Center for Children with Autism, and he's donated 5 million rubles. So, again, like, it's not a bad thing. It's just that, like, why do you do this now? You know what I mean? Ksenia Sobchak and Lolita Milyavskaya, other 2 stars of Russia that were also at the party, also organized a public campaign to donate to the citizens of Belgorod. And I don't think there's actually anything morally bad about donating to, like, citizens. But once again, just very obvious that they're all trying to be as Z as possible and appear, you know, as good citizens of Russia that definitely agree with what the government is doing. And by far one of the most ridiculous situations that also came out of this debacle is essentially the owner of the club Mutabor, which is actually the club at which the party of Nastya Ivleva took place. He's also in trouble because he's gotten some visits from the Russian governments and, you know, they're checking the club for LGBT propaganda, for, you know, all this very, very nasty stuff that is outlawed in Russia, of course. And what happened is that the owner of the club apparently randomly turned up at one of the churches in Moscow and out of nowhere gifted relics of Saint Nicholas to this Russian church as a sort of a gesture to show that he's like a good Christian. That is definitely not what all this degeneracy and he also said this.
Мы против мракобесия, дьявольщины, мы поддерживаем церковь.
So yes, guys, you heard him. Obviously, you know, this is normal. When we're talking about a club, by the way, that has always been very, very LGBTQ friendly. And first of all, this move of gifting relics of the saint to a church didn't even really work because the club Mutabor is still in trouble right now and is very possibly going to be actually closed by the government. But also, apparently, it turned out that the relics that were gifted by the club owner apparently were fake, because it turned out that the certificates that states that these are actually original relics of a canonized person, right? Apparently the certificate was written by a church official in Italy, but upon further research, that church official was apparently not even working anymore, like he was not in a position to even sign a document like that. And apparently there's no real trace of where, you know, these relics that were given by the club owner, where they actually come from, so nobody knows. And there's a very huge chance that these might be fake. So, I mean, what the fuck is even happening? Like, what is happening? Truly, guys, I just want to understand it. Looking at all this shit from the outside, it looks like, you know, just a bunch of spiders in a jar that are, you know, trying to crawl out of it and kind of destroying each other. And, you know, I don't know. It's like people are essentially being destroyed by the governments. And there's also, you know, these professional snitches, you know, people from the governments who basically just, you know, report on every single person and want to get them jailed. You also have these sort of activist organizations in Russia that do the exact same thing, just snitch the Russian governments for a living, essentially. And now, like, the people who attended the party are suing each other for, like, filming. It's fucking insane. Like, it's an absolute free-for-all in a country where there's, like, no rule of law anymore. You know, it's a fucking circus. Like, there's literally no other way to describe this. And it's all happening over such a trivial fucking thing. A bunch of people got naked in the club. Who gives a shit? And like I already said, if this would have happened in 2021, nobody in Russia would even give a fuck. So once again, the question is, why is Russia doing this? Again, in my opinion, this is just down to kind of just scare and, put the celebrities and, the influencers of Russia in line so they understand the new rules of the game, essentially. Russia's introduced the new rules of the game now. You don't even have to be gay to be, like, jailed for LGBT propaganda. You just have to do something remotely, like, racy or something remotely, like, Western or something, and, you're done. And also, I believe a part of it is also that they're just trying to make everybody, sort of more loyal and kind of clear the field before the Russian election that is actually coming out very soon on March of 2024. Obviously, even though Russia is an authoritarian state and we all know who's gonna win, still there's gonna be a lot of, excitement in the Russian society regarding the election. So obviously, you gotta make sure that these influencers are brought down to a level that they know that they cannot say literally anything. And that is what's happening. In a different video in which actually talks about how some of the richest influencers of Russia are currently facing prison time and they're having like trouble with their taxes all of a sudden. And essentially in that video, I had a sort of a theory that in the Russian society, obviously right now, it's a hard time for a lot of people currently. However, you have these Z-rich influencers, corrupt politicians, etc. that are living completely fine. They're raking in the money, eating caviar, wearing gems worth 20 million rubles on their ass, etc., right? And in Russia, a lot of people are feeling like, their lives haven't gotten better since 2022, obviously. So there is definitely frustration and a sort of a want for some kind of social justice within the people of Russia, right? And what the government essentially is doing here, in my opinion, is that they're kind of sticking it to the rich, abrasive, sort of, annoying influencers of Russia. Essentially, so just that, your regular Z uncle can kind of gawk at it and be like, haha, fuck those rich motherfuckers. They could use being brought down to a level, that kind of stuff. So yeah, Russia is essentially enacting this sort of fake social justice where they basically just start repressing rich people that didn't even do anything instead of obviously, going after, the real criminals. And yeah, the fact that some rich, Moscow influencer who's completely out of touch with reality and with the rest of Russia, the fact that somebody like that gets jailed may be actually, funny to your average Ivan who'd be like, yeah, fuck yeah, finally Russia is, taking some action against these, bourgeoisie. So yeah, I had this thought about famous Russian Instagram influencers getting jailed, and now seeing everything that's going on with this party situation, I think I was kinda right. But yeah guys, what do I have to say? Once again, the political reality of Russia just keeps getting more and more ridiculous. The things that people get jailed for get even more ridiculous day by day. And yeah, apparently now if you dress not too modestly, you could be sent to the front line to wash away your sins or whatever, which is, one of the reasons why I personally left Russia in my opinion, because I'm really not trying to be out there on the front line because I have Conflict of Nations to play. Conflict of Nations is a free online PvP strategy game taking place in modern global warfare. Choose your own strategy, engage in epic battles, and take over the world. And by clicking the link in the description, you will get an exclusive gift. 13,000 golds and 1 month of premium subscription for free. Offer is only available for 30 days, so don't lose time. Click the link in the description, choose your country, and fight your way to victory. But anyways guys, that is going to be pretty much it for today's video. If you guys did enjoy it, then please make sure to slap the like on it. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I guess I'll see you guys in the next episode of Russia is Losing Its Marbles. Thanks for all the support once again, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.